We have more information, physical comfort, and technological leverage than any generation in history. Yet, we are exhausted. We suffer from a profound sense of paralysis, a learned helplessness that leaves us stuck behind screens, frozen by a recurring sense of being an imposter. The ancient Vedic tradition diagnosed this state as a failure of internal logic. To fix it, they developed an operating system called the Hanuman Consciousness, a set of psychological protocols designed to transform dormant potential into single-pointed power. Legend says the infant Hanuman leaped to consume the sun, was struck down, and cursed to forget his infinite power. Watch a child at play. They possess a curiosity that ignores physics. But then, systems like rigid schooling or social compliance intervene, like the ancient rishis. We gradually internalize these external limitations until we trade our ability to leap at the sun for the safety of the ground. This exhaustion is not a permanent defect. It is a state of induced amnesia. We are lions living as sheep, sitting on the beach of our own potential while waiting for someone else to give us permission to fly. We cannot accurately calculate our future potential using a mind calibrated by our past failures. This subjective loop ensures we analyze our capacity using a malfunctioning instrument, where old data keeps us trapped in familiar patterns of doubt. Breaking this cycle requires an external intervention, the Jambavan effect. Just as Hanuman needed a mentor to remind him of his lineage, we need an external mirror to reflect the strength we have forgotten. Deep listening, or Shravanam, directly alters the internal state. When we receive high-quality validation from a trusted source, the auditory input bypasses the critical mind and triggers a somatic response. The nervous system shifts away from fear, preparing the body for action. Because we cannot wake ourselves from a dream while still inside it, achieving breakthrough power requires allowing an external truth to override our internal doubts. However, an awakened mind is useless if the physical nervous system is too fragile to sustain the pressure. We must fortify the container before we can handle the voltage of high-performance action. Modern life operates like a dopamine casino. Fragmented attention acts as cracks in our vessel, bleeding vital life force. Hanuman's method focuses on containment. Sealing these leaks transmutes biological energy. Under pressure, raw fuel condenses into Ojas, a dense magnetic radiance providing spiritual immunity. Maintaining high performance depends on the integrity of this vessel. Ruthlessly eliminating these sensory leaks preserves the baseline energy necessary for any significant breakthrough. Once the vessel is sealed and the mind is awake, that gathered energy must be applied to a crisis. We move from the theory of power to the absolute necessity of execution. In his ultimate test, Hanuman was sent to find a specific healing herb on a distant mountain before sunrise. Faced with thousands of identical plants and zero time for analysis, he reached a point of total ambiguity. Rather than returning with an excuse about the difficulty of the task, he chose to remove the variable of failure. He solved the problem by ripping the entire mountain out of the earth and carrying it back to the battlefield. This is extreme ownership, the realization that over-delivering on a result is your only duty. In high-stakes environments, the goal is not to be elegant, it is to be effective. Even with this mindset, the brain's survival wiring tends to prioritize negative data over our successes. Without a system to track our wins, we naturally default back to a sense of weakness. To counter this, we use the victory log, the daily practice of physically writing down moments where we successfully navigated an impossible situation. Externalizing your history onto paper forces your brain to acknowledge the evidence of your own strength. By doing this, you act as your own Jambavan, creating an external mirror that breaks the loop of doubt. You are not a broken vessel in need of fixing, but a sleeping god who has simply forgotten your lineage. The vessel is fortified. The amnesia is gone. It is time to wake up.